Well, hello there, Gemini. Welcome on in to your general monthly reading for the month of November. We're going to jump right into this nature oracle deck and see what we get to begin. For Gemini, I'm actually going to pull right from the middle. We're beginning with the Ocean card talking about waves. And so I feel like this is a time where Spirit is saying, ride the waves, my friends. For things are going to feel a little bit all over the place, but the energy especially is going to feel often, I'm hearing ever changing. It's not really staying the same. It's to say one moment things feel heavy where you are in that specific moment, and then it feels light. Then it feels, a little bit energetic where you're at, but then it feels a bit snoozy. I don't know why I got snoozy. A bit tired in energy. And so it feels like the energy is just fluctuating left and right. But it ends up being a month for you where they're saying you need to perfect the art of coasting, where I feel this Gemini collective is really in the mood for control. You know, you're in the mood for all right, strategizing, planning, getting ahead, accomplishing things, checking things off your to-do list. And it's very Emperor-like. It's very King of Swords, very Knight of Swords, even maybe Knight of Pentacles kind of energy. But it feels like a month for you, my friends, where they're saying that's not always going to be the best approach. It's not going to be the best energy for you to be in. Just kind of float a bit more, coast a bit more. I know it's going to be a bit of a challenge for some of you, but it's about going with the flow. All right, that is the overall message. But of course, there's got to be some lawn care in the background. But for Gemini to continue, things like birds, trees, flowers, these kind of things will start to take a highlight. And you might find that some of which ends up being a spiritual message for you. Say it's a sunflower, look up sunflower spiritual message, and there will be something for you. But then there are other moments where maybe you were focusing on something too much or for the wrong reasoning in the moment. And then you turn your head to look at, say, a sunset or a sunrise or a flock of birds going by, or it's just this random tree that you don't typically appreciate. It's taking you away from that focus, or again, it could have a spiritual meaning for you. But I guarantee at the very least, it's a moment that is needed for you for some reason or another. What else do we have for Gemini? I just heard I talk and I talk and I talk, and I at times don't even realize what I'm saying. I guarantee a spirit speaking through you, all right? There's something about you being as well energetically and otherwise affected by someone else's spiritual team, all right? It's to say you're talking with somebody at work or at home or whatever the case may be. Could be in a storefront for somebody, and this person has a decent team of spiritual guides, even other random ones with them naturally, and some of which feel the need to assist you when you're around that person, some of which feel the need to just speak through you. So yeah, that's part of your month at certain points. Okay, from the tarot for Gemini, it feels like things are feeling quite uptight at certain points. You may honestly be creating some of that energy depending on your role in that moment, depending on what you're trying to create or change. Or it could be a point that you're trying to make. But this intensity, this tense kind of energy needs to be minimalized and even prevented at certain points, because I feel the need to remind you in the midst of this time period where you need to be riding the waves more than ever, it's lightness that's going to make a difference. It's okay, healthy approaches, less tense energy once again, but it's sort of a loose kind of kindness that needs to come to the surface and be utilized when you're trying to make a point, when you're trying to change this and that, adjust this and that, you know what I mean? And for some of you, it's about getting the job done, or maybe delegating in regards to that. But it seems to be a month where they're saying that tense energy, that intensity isn't going to be needed. It kind of feels to be created within your energy fields in one way, shape, or form, to an extent either way. So try to be a part of lightening things up. What else do we have? Okay, the Knight of Cups in reversal. So I would say the imagery here is very accurate for you in the upright, where you feel like you're playing a game of chess. You feel like you always have to strategize. You feel like you have to be on top of your P's and Q's, you know? You never want to miss a beat. You don't want to drop the ball. And Spirit's saying, take a deep breath, all right? Over strategizing, over analyzing, overdoing it with your approach. Making things overly serious is adding to the tenseness, all right, if that was even correct wording. But then the Knight of Cups in reverse is saying you're an emotional being, right? You know, everyone is to an extent, but you're very detached in regards to this. You're looking at things very logically, very analytically even. You know, it's to say you're, without meaning to at times, taking the emotional potential of something, or the potential emotional attachment to something, and you're putting it to the side and saying, this is, in a very dry sense, what I'm looking at. And so how do I deal with this, fix this, approach this, right? Or maybe dodge this. And I see you being somebody who then, you know, naturally needs to sort through certain emotional feelings and whatnot, maybe an unhealed wound or two behind closed doors, because this is very much taking over the majority of the month, you know? And so an emotion might float to the surface when you're behind closed doors at a certain point or two. If it has to happen, it has to happen. You're also going to feel certain spiritual sensations at certain points, especially when you happen to be alone. You know, you're not alone, obviously, because of the spirits and whatnot. But it seems to be a period where, you know, you get a tap on the shoulder, or it's a sensation that makes you feel like you have to itch your arm, or you know, maybe it's a little bit of a spark, or feels like someone just caressed, you know, again, your arm, your right arm is what I'm getting. And spirits are just making their presence known. I feel like it's nothing harmful. It's nothing to be worried about. Certain spirits are just saying, this is my specific way of making my presence known, you know? I'm hearing spirits do get lonely as well. But a couple more for Gemini. 719, look up the angel number meaning. 719. Like a ship in the night is what I'm hearing. A ship in the night, you know, basically communicating that there's at least a couple different people that you feel you are meant to run into. Your paths are meant to, you know, collide or intertwine temporarily. And it's like a fleeting kind of interaction or crossing of paths. It's like fleeting in the night, you know? And that ship is off to where it's meant to be heading to, you know, and as are you, you know, and so it feels like that's kind of the energy as well. You know, you're busy, you know, you're focused, you're on your way even at certain points, you're on a mission usually, you know, and typically that's wrapped up with you as well, having your eyes set on a target or two of importance. And then you feel that other people are kind of like that as well. Everyone's just in their own world, in their own lane, on a mission, if you will. But you may find that there's certain random moments where a mission or two of yours, a task or two of yours is kind of put on hold. You know, it's like maybe abruptly stopped in the moment. It's because we're taking you out of that go, go, go sort of robotic mode, you know? It's like you're in certain modes at certain points where taking you out of it will be beneficial whether you want that or not in the moment, okay? But what else do we have? The Three of Swords, that was so uncomfortable, in reverse, because there's something that you have been avoiding, or that you just maybe haven't got to as far as healing. Maybe it wasn't the right time, but the uncomfortable energy that I experienced as it kind of wanted to come out of the deck means it's not going to be the most comfortable healing process, but you will thank yourself for flowing through that and not fighting it when you come out the other side to step into maybe the public eye more so, a more healed version of yourself. I'm now hearing wake up and do your thing. But the Ten of Cups as well, because there's something about family life for some of you, but your happiness taking a huge focus. You needing to prioritize that in order to make sure that every other aspect of your life benefits because of it. And there's just something about you maybe knowing that certain things are temporary, but will switch up at a certain point down the line. But then it's about you envisioning the best while making the best and enjoying yourself a bit more. Because if something's going to continue, whether it's partially or fully your choice or not, then you might as well enjoy it. You know what I mean? It's going to make it that much easier and more colorful on the way to whatever this 10 of Cups looks like for you. All right. But I feel this to be a time period where they're once again reminding you that you need to ride the waves. Okay. You need to go with the flow, and you need to adjust where it's needed, because you're very quick to adjust things outside of you. But what about your energy? What about your approach? What about your perspective? What about how you're viewing things even for the future? But I feel that you will wrap up November feeling more successful, a changed kind of version of yourself, and you'll feel more healed and ready for whatever the ending of the year has in store for you. All right. So Gemini, I hope that was truly helpful. That is what I have for you. I'm always, if I could even speak, sending you a ton of love and light. Take care, my friends.